That's Chicago. You might say, what's he doing here and what's he doing on a boat? I'm actually on the boat to show you Chicago. And the reason I'm here isn't really Chicago, it's only part of it. I'm here for Route 66, the most famous road in the world. How many other roads do you know that people sing about? And it's just one of those magical places that you always long to see. Ever since I was a wee boy in Glasgow, I fantasised about getting my kicks on Route 66.
Oh my God!
To me, it was a magic trail heading west through the heart of America into the land of broken dreams and Hollywood endings. The highway that built a continent, defined a nation, running from Chicago to LA. Route 66 is the story of America, written by the people, for the people, over 8 states and 2,500 miles.
I love that.
It's a tale in tarmac of presidents and paupers, cowboys and Indians, diners and drive-thrus, framed in a landscape from 100 movies with the soundtrack of the greatest music in the world. Rock and roll. Sounds good, doesn't it? Oh my God.
Wow!
We're going to have lots of fun. Meet lots of people, see lots of nice things. Come with me. Come on, I dare you. If you come with me, I'll do dirty things.
Well, it goes from St. Louis, down from Missouri, Oklahoma City, looks so pretty, you see. Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingsman, Warsaw, San Bernardino, won't you get your kicks on Route 66?
The first leg of my trip is through the great state of Illinois, home to Abraham Lincoln, real soul music, secret Amish communities and devastating tornadoes. And it all starts here in one of my favourite cities in the world.
Oh, yeah. Woo!
This is Chicago, the Windy City. Soaring above Lake Michigan, these grand canyons of concrete and steel make for a hard and handsome place. It's the city that gave us Al Capone, President Obama, and of course, the blues.
Way past 21.
Once a wild frontier town, it grew rich and taller when it became the engine of America's expansion into the West. And there could be no more fitting start to a road they called the Main Street of America.
Yo-ho! Chicago's a rather beautiful place. It's funny, people, when you mention Chicago, they never mention beautiful. But once you've been here and you see the architecture, it really is a mind bender. And I'll tell you the reason for that. There was a huge fire in 1871. The place was kind of made of wood before that. It was all wooden buildings. And in 1871, the whole thing burned down. The entire place. All that was left was a water tower. I'll show you it later. We'll find it down here and I'll show you the water tower. It's still there. How are you?
This one can go to anywhere.
Little taxi driver likes my bike. I think this is the water tower here. It looks like a wee white church with a tower. But this was all that was left after the Great Fire. Now you can hardly see it, it's so swamped. And that's why Chicago is such a nice looking town, because they started again in 1871.
Chicago's attitude to architecture is breathtaking. Even in this economic climate, they've recently built 40 new skyscrapers. Sometimes they get it so right, and sometimes, well, stick around, see what you think.
We're coming up to the Chicago Tribune building. If you look at it, see these vertical stripes? That was supposed to give it height. Look at it, it's like King Arthur's castle. Now the owner of this building in the old days, his name was Colonel McCormick, and he'd been to Ypres, where the battle was in the First World War. That one that the old British guys used to call wipers, Y-P-R-E-S. And he found a bit of stone that had been blown off the cathedral by the Germans in the war, and he kept it as a souvenir. And then he got the idea he would collect more bits of famous buildings, and he instructed his staff, wherever they were, by well-mannered means to collect pieces of famous buildings. And it's one of my favourite things. I'll show you along here. Now, what they do with the stones is this. There's a look, Edinburgh Castle. This is a wee bit of Edinburgh Castle. So how they managed to get a big chunk like that with well-mannered means from Edinburgh Castle, I don't know. Notre Dame, Fort Santiago. See them, all the different ones. Ah, there it is, my favourite. Indian Joe's Cave. Mark Twain, my ultimate hero. All these stones, how did they get them by well-mannered means? See, this used to be my favourite corner. Come here and I'll show you where that bugger spoiled it. I used to come to here. You see that nice white building, that right round like that. And then Trump stuck that thing in the middle. Trump pulled down the Chicago Sun building and built that piece of shit. Bum. He wants to be the president. The place would be a toilet if he became a president.
Chicago's probably more famous for one thing than any other: gangsters. During the Roaring '20s, newspapers all over the world were full of tales of wild gunfights and even wilder parties, all fueled by illegal moonshine. Just across from the whiskey-laden Canada and at the heart of the nation's rail and road networks, Chicago was perfectly located to become the crucible of organised crime in America. And it was all presided over by one man, Al Capone, who ran his empire from the top of this very building. Speakeasy. You have to go to a speakeasy if you're in Chicago. Now, I know this isn't what you expected. Big flash of this, a restaurant now, but speakeasies were like this. They were restaurants and fancy places at the front. It wasn't always that wee door that you knock and a wee square window. Who are you? Who sent you? They had fronts like this, and this one's actually been done up at the moment, but it's pretty much the same shape as it used to be in the 20s. Because in 1920, America made a criminal mistake. And they answered to the Christian Temperance Society and shut down boozers everywhere. Every pub was shut. It was illegal to make, sell or transport alcohol. And as a result, you know, everybody needs a wee drinky poo. These speakeasies sprung up. This would be like this, of course. You get in, you're out of the restaurant now, you're into the boozer. And as you move further on, it becomes more and more secretive and much more interesting. If the cops came, you're gone.
The world's in slumber, let's misbehave.
And you know, in the middle of all that prohibition, Al Capone, how people believed him, I'll never know. This was a guy in his 20s with a big scar on his face.
He convinced the authorities to sell non-alcoholic beer. So he made gallons and gallons, barrels of non-alcoholic beer, had them delivered to here. As soon as the police had inspected it, his mates would show up with the big veterinarian syringes that you usually shove up elephants' bums, full of ethanol, pure liquid, pure alcohol, into the barrel, and off we go again. Ta-da, happy days are here again. But you know the funniest thing? The legacy that Al Capone left has got nothing to do with booze. It's the sell-by date on a bottle of milk. It was during the Depression, the schools were bankrupt, the public schools. He donated $1 million for milk for the school children, but insisted that the date was put on the bottle because he hated the sour milk he was given to drink as a child, and that exists to this day. Isn't that the strangest thing?
There are plenty of bigger cities than Chicago in the world, but there are few taller. This is the skyscraper capital of the world. So brace yourself, it doesn't get much higher than this. Standing at 1,450 feet, this is the Willis Tower. You might remember it as the Sears Tower, the tallest building in America.
Welcome to the top.
This has got the most spectacular views. That's Chicago. You know, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to be a real daredevil here. Now, this is a real heart shaker. See this wee cubicle here? The floor is made of glass. So for 110 stories up, this is the creepiest feeling you'll ever witness. It's straight down 110 stories to the street. There's something inside you says, don't, get off. But I've always liked heights ever since I was a wee boy. Now, where those yellow taxis are in that street there, that's Route 66. If you have a chance to motor west, take the highway, that's my way, we love bears. Get your kicks on Route 66. Listen, do you hear that? It's a train. The loneliest noise in the world. Seldom in your life will you see Route 66 from this angle. That's Route 66. And that's the way we'll be heading out west. California, here I come. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah.
Man who did that to live a life free and easy. Put the toothbrush in my hand and let me be.
How you doing there? The thing that makes Route 66 unique is it's a road with its own soundtrack. Some call it the blues, others call it soul. Me, I call it rock and roll. That's why I can't leave Chicago before going to Bronzeville. Between the end of the First World War and the 1930s, tens of thousands of black men and women flocked to this Chicago suburb to escape the racism of the South. These are the very streets that Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf turned the blues electric and gave birth to rock and roll.
I should have quit you a long time ago.
But that's not the only music that was born in Bronzeville. Now, you may find this a bit difficult to believe, but I'm going to church this morning. It's a completely new experience for me for many, many, many years. And this is the Quinn Chapel, which is a very famous place. It's the oldest black congregation in America. It's been here since the 1850s. And the congregation used to be mostly freed slaves and abolitionists. And I didn't realize at its height, the slavery industry, if you like to call it, had 4 million people, men, women, and children.
We thank you, God, that this morning you rose with all power in your hands.
But the most important thing about this place is this is where gospel music really began in America. Before its abolition 150 years ago, escaped slaves would flee to this very chapel in the hope of finding a new and better life. What I find amazing, though, is that even as recently as when I was a little boy in Glasgow, people in this room were still refused the right to vote. There is a palpable joy of community in this chapel. And it's that, plus the long shadow of racism, that local artist Preston Jackson tackles in his work about Bronzeville.
Beautiful accent. I don't know why it is that I'm so turned on by that. It's music to me. You know?
Oh, thanks very much. It's the only one I've got.
Yeah.
I'll change it as soon as I find a better one.
Okay.
Can I have a look at your work, please?
Sure. These are all bronze cast, and they're not hollow, so that there's a lot of weight to the whole thing.
I love this. I don't know what it is about this guy. He's so alive.
Yeah. He's kind of
I think it's his tie that's doing it.
Yeah, wind blowing. He's cool. And she's saying, please, don't talk to me. I'm busy. I gotta make some money here. With your trifling ass,
I love these dense cast bronze pieces. There's a real sense of pride in what they're portraying. But not everyone feels the same way I do.
Some of the work may rub people the wrong way, or it's never been politically incorrect,
But rubbing people the wrong way is a good thing, I think.
I think so too. Here in America, we definitely still have problems. That we have to address. I mean, even the president today, he really underestimated the effects of racism and how deep that runs.
Yes, I underestimated it too.
Yeah, right.
As a child in the 50s, Preston remembers taking family vacations to the south. But to get there, they had to use a travel guidebook unlike any other you've ever heard of. And what's the green book?
If you were going to travel anywhere out of your neighborhood or anywhere, you better study that green book, because that green book told you where you can sleep, where you can eat, where you can, the black doctors that are in a particular town, what not to do, where not to go, and places that, just your appearance after sun go down, not to be there. Many times it saved your life, If a town was like Anna, Illinois, it was spelled A-N-N-A, ain't no niggas around. Yeah.
What?
That was the name of the city. So it was very helpful.
That takes my breath away. I remember reading that Nat King Cole, when he was playing Vegas, couldn't live in the hotel he was playing. And I met Natalie Cole.
Yeah.
And I said, I was reading about your dad, and he couldn't He couldn't live in the hotel. She said he couldn't go in the front door. He had to go in the kitchen.
That's right. Then he got his own TV
Nat King
show.
Cole, for
Yeah.
God's sake.
I mean, rock and roll came from right down the street.
Yes.
All of that stuff happened there.
I was saying rock and roll is black.
Yeah,
It
man.
wasn't, Pat Boone had very little to do with it.
Oh, what?
I was saying-
You know.
Tutti frutti. Oh, Rooty. That's what I
That
said.
was so
I
funny.
said it on film. I said, have you ever heard Pat Boone do Tutti Frutti? And he obviously doesn't know what it means.
I know it, man.
Because he's got his Bible in one hand going, Tutti Frutti. Oh, Rooty.
That was so damn funny, you know.
Wasn't it brilliant?
Oh man! And when the twist came in, you know, and he was like this, you know. Oh man!
That's Chicago. It ain't London, it ain't Paris, but it is all American, alive from snout to tail, and I love that. But now, well, it's time for me to saddle up and hit the road. Got my helmet with my little microphone, got my jacket, got my chaps with a nice cool crutch for the hot work. Just about to go on Route 66, a life's ambition of mine. Come along with me, we'll have a laugh, we'll see things we'll never forget, see things we'll never want to remember, I would imagine. I've no idea what we're going to see, but we're going to Pontiac today. I don't know where it is, but we'll be there. See you later. Route 66, begin. There are no two ways about it. If you want to feel like you're in a movie, hit the open road, because as soon as that horizon opens up, you're in your own VistaVision heaven. At long last, you too can feel like Peter Fonda in Easy Rider. But don't expect an easy time of it. I'm heading into tornado country. The forecast is bad, and I've got a feeling my ventilated chaps might prove to be no match for that kind of weather. Now, if you've never seen a giant, you're about to see one now. He lives just up the road here. It's the silliest story you ever heard. There he is. I'd like you to meet Gemini the giant. He came here in 1965. The guy who owned this place, the Launching Pad, I don't know if the place is called the Launching Pad because of Gemini, or if Gemini is called Gemini because of the Launching Pad. But there was a restaurant convention, and the guy went to the convention and found this. He's 28 feet high, and he bought him for $3,000. I wonder what his wife said when he brought him home. Darling, I've got you a present. Look at the size of him. I absolutely love them, and I wish there was many, many more of them. Originally, the idea of these big guys on Route 66 was to attract people off the interstate highway, but you can't see the interstate highway from here. I don't know how many people he attracts, but he certainly wouldn't attract me to eat. But that's Gemini the giant.
Sitting here la la waiting for my ya-ya. Sitting here la la waiting for my ya-ya. It may sound funny, but I don't believe she's coming.
Now you see that railway line I just crossed over there? I hope it's the same one that crosses Godley. That's the next little town we come to. In the old mining days, in the 1930s, there was a brothel here, but the lovely thing is, Godley is in 2 counties, one on each side of the street, and there's a railway line used to cross over. So they built the brothel
on the railway line. And it was a house on railway wheels where all the brotheling would carry on a Friday and a Saturday night. And then when they heard the news that the police were going to conduct a raid, everybody would leap out of bed in a state of undress and push the house from one county into the other. These bare-arsed people pushing a house across the street. I can't imagine what it must have been like with the hookers and the bare-arsed patrons. I love that.
I'm sitting here loud, waiting for my yaya.
96 miles down and I've already seen a giant and a brothel. Not a bad start. Pontiac, here I come. From roadside monuments to rock and roll gems, all the way through to books like The Grapes of Wrath, Route 66 has inspired countless wastrels throughout its history to create great fun and silly art in equal measure. How many other roads can you think of have their own resident artist? That's who Bob Waldmeyer was. He was like the prototype hippie who would spend the year travelling up and down the route, chasing the sun to Arizona while sketching these highly detailed posters. Bob died of cancer recently, but to my absolute joy I found that his spirit lives on.
This is how he travelled. He bought it was an old school bus, and he put solar panels on the top and fitted an oven, and he's got a shower and everything. You'll have to have, it's a bit of a squeeze to get you in, but come on in, have a look. It's just the cosiest place. All his wee favourite things are still here. I don't know what would have happened in an emergency stop in this bus. We'd all end up beside him down at the driver's seat, I would imagine. But isn't it amazing? It's a great way for an artist to live.
Rise up easy, rise.
Some say that God is in the detail. Well, I don't know about that, but I can absolutely see what kind of man Bob was. And well, that's a shame. I would really like to have met him.
Well, I am consumed with envy at this vehicle. And if you aren't, look into yourself. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more.
Welcome to Route 66. I've 2,500 miles to cover with only 150 miles on the clock. I've still a long way to go.
Welcome to Normal. What a rotten name for a town. I notice it's rather beige.
Illinois is littered with these small towns where you suspect everybody knows each other and neighbours share coffee and lawnmowers as freely as they share each other's spouses. Not that I'm actually suggesting that they do that in my next destination. And I've come to Atlanta to meet Bill Thomas, proprietor of the rather delightful Palm Grill Cafe and Illinois State's prize-winning champion pie maker in chief.
Rhubarb today.
I think I'm a peach.
A peach man? All right.
Peach is my favorite too.
It is.
Yes.
I can tell. All the best. Oh my God, it's delicious.
Isn't it the best?
Who does the big giant belong to?
To the town of Atlanta.
And I love them. I absolutely love them. I wish there was more of them.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
And there seem to be fewer and fewer.
There's a donut-shaped one too in LA.
Yeah.
A great big donut-shaped one. Yeah, I don't know if it's still in existence.
It is, yeah.
Is it? Okay. I've seen pictures
And when it
of
rains, it looks as if it's been dunked.
Oh, no.
It gets
That's
wet
good.
in the top. It looks like a dunk, doesn't it?
That's good.
Well, I can see why you're the champion.
Now that crust you're eating,
Yeah.
this is really unusual. It uses vegetable oil. Liquid vegetable oil. Yes, have you ever done that?
No,
It is
no
the-
butter.
No, no butter.
Yeah, I always chopped up butter into little wee cubes and then with
Right. Then you
with
do.
the flour, do it with
Yeah.
my
Did you
fingers.
actually do it with your fingers?
Yes.
Yeah.
until it
That's
was
the very old-fashioned way.
gravelly consistency.
Yeah. Not many people know how to do that. I'm impressed. If you can do that, I am. I'm impressed. That's not the easiest thing to do.
He's a beauty. Oh, there should be more. They should be up and down the M1. Instead of those signs saying slow down or take it easy, check your speed, have you been drinking, the sign should be in his hands. He should be holding the sign up like that. Smile. Kiss your wife. Stop slapping your children. You're driving erratically. You know that way fathers do? They lean over the back of the driving seat and whack every leg that sticks up. That's caused more bloody accidents in Britain. It's a funny thing that really irritates me is the loss of Americana in America. When they rebuild something, they tend to make it very plain. They don't trust their own taste, which is a shame. That's what attracted people to America. Cowboy hats, and Cuban heels, and shiny lipstick, and Marilyn Monroe, and Jane Mansfield, and Fred Astaire. And they seem to have been giving it away, and I think that's a shame. 130 miles down and we're about to enter the state capital, Springfield. There are 38 Springfields in America. Which one is home to the cartoon family The Simpsons? I've no idea. This Springfield, however, has one resident who's even more famous than Homer. President Abraham Lincoln. Widely regarded as the greatest president in American history, Lincoln not only held the country together during the Civil War, he also ended slavery in the States. Not bad for a self-educated man from a one-room shack in Kentucky.
Welcome to the Abraham Lincoln home.
Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
It's always very strange when you're in the very place where a great person used to live. That you can touch things that they have touched. It's so strange. And there's a lovely story that he was well known to have spoiled his children, and he was often seen pushing them and pulling them along in a cart, and that was considered very unmanly in those days, and I like that. Because I remember as a young man myself pushing my children around and people thinking I was a hippie, all fringes and stripes. But people found me very odd, so goodness sake, how did they find him in the 19th century? The more I've learned about Abraham Lincoln, the more I like him as a person. Now, this is not the original wallpaper. I know you'll be looking at it and saying, is that his taste? No, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is the original wallpaper, chosen by his wife. They think maybe it was a French company, but I love it. I bet they were a really modern couple for their time. I've got something great to show you. One of the most important rooms in the house, if not the most important. Now this is what was known as the outhouse. As you can see, it's got 3 pots, small, medium and large, depending on the size of your backside, I guess. You don't want to go plunging down that hole, I tell you. You know what? I can't help thinking of him sitting there with that big hat on.
not much of a one for rules, but one thing I would encourage anyone to do on a road trip is go off the map, because that's where you'll find the real America they don't tell you about in the guidebooks. So I'm heading 70 miles south of Springfield to the Amish town of Arthur. Now, I'll be the first one to admit that beyond the Harrison Ford movie Witness, I know very little about the Amish, a persecuted religious sect forced to flee 19th century Europe. They're now, for all intents and purposes, self-exiled from the rest of the world. They rarely, if ever, allow cameras on their property, so this is a real privilege for me.
There's some bread if you want to start with the bread.
Yeah.
There's some jam.
Local furniture manufacturer Mervyn has invited me into his home and workplace to discover what really goes on beneath the bonnets and hats of movie folklore. There is one condition, however. He would rather we didn't focus on his face while filming, as he feels it's a sign of vanity, which should make our cameraman's job a bit more interesting.
Is that your hat?
Yeah, that's my hat.
Let me see you with your hat on.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think you're not an Amish till you get that hat on.
Yeah.
Tell me something, why do Amish have no moustache?
I really don't know. It's just one of those customs, I guess, that they...
Yeah, because I've never seen an Amish with a moustache,
No.
just a beard around here.
It's one of their customs that we kind of all try to be alike.
Yeah.
And I guess they feel like it's not necessary to have a mustache, I guess. Some do and some don't. You know, if somebody
I think it's absolutely necessary.
Okay, right. Right.
And what about clothes for Amish people? Do you buy clothes in town or do you have them made?
A lot of them make their own clothes. Shirts, we can buy shirts, and then in this area we're not allowed to have pockets on the shirts. So if they got pockets, we take the pockets off.
You're not allowed pockets?
Yeah, no, not on the shirts.
Why is that?
Well, I guess it's one of those things, that one of the rules, you know.
Fortunately, there are no rules about who drives the buggy, and Mervyn's bravely allowing me to take the reins.
Got the hang of it?
Yeah.
Pretty simple, isn't it?
But you know what I find very impressive, Marvin? You know, you keep talking about the rules for this and the rules for that, but you seem very comfortable with it.
Oh, yeah.
You seem very easy with it.
Yeah, it's something you get used to.
Whereas from the outside, people think it's kind of fanatical. But close up, you seem very comfortable and happy with what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. It's nice to keep your family together and just do your own thing, you know.
Yes.
So you got any children, Billy?
5.
5. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
4 girls and a boy. How many children you got?
We got 5 children. We had 6, and the youngest one actually passed on. We had a little accident when he was 14 months old.
14 months? Oh, that must have broken your heart.
Yeah, it was kind of a sad situation. I was out in the barn, and I was using a skid loader to move a hay bale and a back over him.
Oh, no!
And so it was kind of sad. It's been the 2nd of April, it was 20 years ago. So. And you still think about it a lot.
Oh, I bet you do.
But, you know, life goes on, and you just got to make the best of it sometimes.
Of course you do. Now, when it comes to getting married to another Amish person, how do you find a wife?
An Amish person?
Yeah, how would the average Amish guy find an Amish wife?
What I did, I met her at a certain place, my wife, and we got each other acquainted, and then we started dating each other.
Or did you meet at a sort of community thing, a dance or a get-together or something?
I was probably where it shouldn't have been. We're all humans just like the rest of them.
Absolutely. But I like some of the conclusions you've come to, like having no pockets. There's something nice about that.
Yeah. I'll have to hire you to do the driving for me, then I can sleep.
Absolutely, I'd happily be your roadie.
Greetings from Illinois on Route 66. Since leaving Chicago, I've clocked over 300 miles and we're about to enter tornado country. Forget everything you think you know about bad weather. Tornadoes are nature's weapons of mass destruction. The average amount that hit land at this time of year is 116, which is terrifying enough. But since I got here, there have been 292, and I'm headed straight to the outskirts of St. Louis, where 5 of them hit just a few days ago. Oh my God. Hello. Hi. Look at this. My God. These used to be houses, these piles of rubble. The funniest thing is I don't even know how many houses this is. There's no evidence of how many houses were here. There's somebody's bath. Extraordinary. I've never been this close to this kind of thing before. The tornado was half a mile wide and it ripped through here at 166 miles an hour. 30 seconds later, all of this was gone, and that's all it took. 30 seconds.
Hi.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What was the noise like?
They say it sounds like a freight train coming through.
Yep, my dad said
It
sounded like a train was going right by the house, and he said that the instant his ear popped, he knew it was coming. Both his ears popped.
Is that when he was still up here?
He said as he was going down the steps, because he made it down just before it hit.
Oh my God. That's the thing that got me. There wasn't one single death.
Nope.
So you just get through all this rubble, hoping to find like precious things.
Yep. We found a couple very, very valuable things, so we're happy to.
Oh, that's lovely.
Her engagement ring.
You found your engagement ring?
Yeah, it was at my parents' house here, loose, sitting on my nightstand, and she found it in the rubble.
And that's it.
I hadn't been wearing it.
I'm going to touch it for luck.
It's definitely one of the luckiest pieces of jewelry I know, so.
Oh, that's
And my wedding dress survived too. I hadn't gotten married yet, but my wedding dress survived.
Your wedding dress survived?
My wedding dress survived. It has a little bit of mud on it and a small hole in one of the seams on the side, but all that can be fixed.
We had to pick up a wall.
Oh, all of that can be fixed easily, because I watch Bridezilla. I know all of these things.
Oh yes. I've watched Bridezilla before too.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you know one other thing that really strikes me? The mood is high.
Yeah.
The optimism is extraordinary.
Yep. My parents the first few days were very upset that, this is such a devastating thing. But now my mom's talking about, oh, I want a new big front porch.
She's redesigning the new place.
She's already ready.
I know that one. I'm married to a woman like that. Well, it's been lovely talking to you. I'm sorry for your misfortune. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you, you too.
And good luck to you in the future. What a mess. So count your blessings and don't complain about the weather, because this is how weather can get. This is America at its best. Good people doing good things for each other just because they can. No tears, no complaints, just stoicism and optimism. It's real pioneer spirit stuff. And it's that even more than the roadside giants that I love Americans for. Next time I take the 66 into the beating heart of America. It's a lovely day in Kansas today. There's gonna be big guns.
Get out of here, you big Jesse!
Sassy, brassy hunters.
What do you want me to shoot?
Obsessive compulsives.
Oh, God!
A soul-singing legend. And the biggest rocking chair you have ever seen. And you shall come with me, and you will be the better for it.
For your chance to win a fabulous USA trip for you and 3 friends from a choice of 3 Route 66 destinations: Chicago, Las Vegas or Los Angeles. All include 7 nights luxury accommodation, car hire and £4,000 spending money. All you have to do is answer the following question correctly. Which Chuck famously sang the song Get Your Kicks on Route 66? Was it A. Chuck Berry, B. Chuck Norris, C. Chuck Steak? Call 090 49 59 69 66. Calls cost no more than £1 and 3 pence from BT landlines. Calls from other networks may be higher and from mobiles will be considerably more. Or text A, B or C to 83 366. Text costs £1 plus 1 standard network rate message. Red button viewers can enter by pressing their red button now. You can also enter for free at itv.com. Entrants must be 18 or over. Entries made after lines close at 10 a.m. on the 13th of October will not be counted, but may still be charged.
Keep on riding on, on. Keep on riding on. Keep on riding on. Keep on riding on. Turn and flee outside.